Hello everyone, and welcome. Over the past 16 weeks, we have studied how people, society, and theater all relate to one another. So today, I'm going to show you how a small aspect of people's everyday life relates to the themes and issues in both today's and the past society. As far as the theater aspect of this presentation goes, I chose to present on a play called In the Soul Shall Dance. So why don't we take a look on how clothing affects themes. The themes that I chose to work with are about social gaps, generation gaps, and culture gaps. Let's start with the character Hannah. Hannah is a middle-aged woman who is a mother of one child and a wife. She is from Japan. All the characters are from Japan, and they're immigrants on a farm. What I chose to work with a lot of is color palettes and pattern designs of the costumes. Up here we see what a typical woman in the 1930s would wear. However, it is very different from what Hannah would wear because she is of a lower class than what these clothings represent. These are what she would typically wear. This is what her dress, I picture her wearing, and of course her apron. Her apron would be very torn, maybe a couple rips in it to show that she is of a lower class and she chooses not to buy things that are more expensive because the money should be used for things that are more essential like kerosene, gasoline, wood to fire their bath. Her daughter, Masako, is a very young Japanese girl, and of the 1930s, this is what a typical young lady would wear. Her color palette would be somewhat of bright colors because she wants to somewhat associate with American culture, but the pattern she wears will be striped, not solid, because it would be less expensive. The husband of the family and the father of the family is named Murata. He is a low-income Japanese immigrant farmer, so he will not be able to afford anything that the typical 1930s man would be wearing, represented in this picture. His clothes would be very faded, wrinkled, torn, with patches in it, because he also chooses to spend his money on things that are more essential, not necessarily his work. Oka is another Japanese male father in the play, and he is very similar to Murata as far as the clothing goes. However, as the play progresses, he also chooses to become more Americanized, and I chose to show that a little bit with a brighter color, but not vibrant, with this blue, this navy blue. His second wife, Emiko, is from Japan, and she misses Japan so much to show, and this helps to show the social gap between American society and Japanese culture. She chooses to wear clothing that she's brought from Japan, and those are kimonos, and notice how they're very bright colors, and patterns are very stylish. Their daughter, Kyoko, is a very interesting character in the play, because she fully represents the transition from Japanese culture to American culture, because she comes from Japan at the age of 14, dressed in something that is very conservative, with no color whatsoever, but the pattern is still nice. As the play progresses and she enters into this transition phase between the Japanese culture and the American culture, she struggles with some form of identity in representing this, and she starts to wear Emiko's kimonos, and I shows this one right here. In the scene, because it's a transition phase between Japanese culture and American culture, the kimono would not be of high quality, it will be faded, torn, and with rips all over it, because in the scene where she fully enters her transition phase, it's raining. By the end of the play, she has fully adapted herself into the American society, and I chose to show that with this shoe. Basically, I think that people should be careful and open their eyes and ears, because clothing can say a lot about them. Thank you for coming.